Once upon a time, in a quiet village near a wide green valley, there lived a 23-year-old young man named Daniel. He thought about mistakes he had made in the past. He remembered old arguments, lost opportunities, and things he wished he had done differently. Instead of sleeping peacefully, Daniel worried about the future. He thought about what might go wrong tomorrow, what people might say about him, and whether he would ever find happiness. There was always noise, always movement, and never any silence. He stopped enjoying simple things. He no longer noticed the beauty of sunrise or the laughter of children in the village. Even when friends spoke to him, his mind wandered somewhere else. One day, while walking through the village market, Daniel overheard two travelers talking. They were speaking about an old teacher who lived far away near a peaceful river in the forest. The teacher had once been a famous philosopher in the city. For many years, he had helped people understand their minds and overcome their worries. But as he grew older, he left the busy city and chose to live a simple life in nature. People said that anyone who visited him returned with a lighter heart. Daniel felt a small spark of hope inside him. He thought, maybe this teacher can help me understand my mind. So the next morning, Daniel packed a small bag and began his journey. The journey was long and tiring. Daniel walked through forests, crossed small bridges, and climbed gentle hills. Sometimes he felt like turning back, but something inside him kept pushing him forward. After several days of traveling, he finally reached the place where the old teacher lived. It was a small wooden house beside a calm and beautiful river. Tall trees surrounded the house and birds were singing in the branches. Near the riverbank, the old teacher was sitting quietly on a stone. His eyes were closed and his breathing was slow and calm. Daniel walked closer and greeted him respectfully. "Sir," he said softly, "my mind is always full of thoughts. I cannot stop worrying about my past and my future. I feel tired all the time. Please teach me how to find peace." The old teacher slowly opened his eyes and looked at Daniel with kindness. Instead of giving a long lecture, the teacher simply stood up and said, "Come with me. I have a small lesson for you." The teacher took Daniel to the edge of the river. There he handed Daniel a small wooden bowl filled with water right to the top. The teacher said, "Walk along the river path until you reach the large oak tree. Then come back here. But be careful. You must not spill any water from the bowl." The water was filled so close to the edge that even the smallest shake could spill it. Still, he nodded and began walking. The path along the river was busy. Fishermen were talking loudly. Children were playing with stones in the water, and birds were flying above the river. But Daniel kept his eyes fixed on the bowl. Step by step, slowly and carefully, he walked along the path. He did not look left or right. His entire attention stayed on the bowl in his hands. Finally, after reaching the oak tree, he turned around and returned to the teacher. When he arrived, he smiled and said proudly, "I did it. Not a single drop of water spilled." The teacher nodded calmly. Then he asked Daniel a simple question. "While walking, did you see the fishermen arguing near the river?" Daniel shook his head. "No." The teacher continued, "Did you hear the children laughing and throwing stones into the water?" Daniel thought for a moment and said, "No, I didn't notice them." The teacher smiled gently. "That is because your mind was focused on one thing, the bowl in your hands." He paused for a moment and then continued, "Your mind became quiet because all your attention was in the present moment." When the mind is fully focused on what we are doing right now, there is no room for unnecessary worries. Daniel listened carefully. For the first time, something inside him started to make sense. The teacher continued, "Your thoughts about the past and your fears about the future only exist when your mind leaves the present moment. When you live fully in the present, like you did while carrying the bowl, your mind naturally becomes calm." Daniel sat quietly for a long time. The river flowed gently beside them, making a soft and peaceful sound. For the first time in many years, Daniel was not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow. He was simply sitting there, breathing, listening to the river, feeling the wind. Slowly, he understood the teacher's lesson. Peace was never something far away. It was always inside him. He just needed to bring his mind back to the present moment. Daniel stood up and bowed respectfully to the teacher. "Thank you," he said softly. "Now I understand. If I want peace, I must keep my mind in the present moment." The teacher smiled kindly. The sun was slowly setting behind the trees. The sky turned golden and birds flew back to their nests. Daniel began his journey back to the village. But he was no longer the same worried young man. His steps were lighter. His heart was calmer. Because now he knew the secret of a peaceful mind.